Josh Doby here. Josh has had his own show for many years.
Yeah.
Josh, I asked you to be here because I'm going to need all the help I can get, buddy, for a show. So thank you, another experienced person sitting on a live show, to be here, buddy. You are the owner and founder of North Main Financial, and you have a show that is North Main Financial, correct?
I do, and it's really focused on obviously what we do. So we're dealing in the financial markets and economic kinds of things all day, every day. So it's meant to bring those big kinds of concepts down to an individual level. So we're chatting about that here every week on WSIC.
And I made you take off your coat.
You did.
Right?
I'm very uncomfortable. very uncomfortable.
So for those of you watching on the book, Josh is a prim and proper guy. I made him take off his coat.
It's uncomfortable.
Because I've decided, I wore a coat for years doing the show.
Right.
Because the show was in the morning. It made sense when I get up in the morning. I want to look good, right? Yeah. But now we're in the afternoon, so I'm pretty sure this show is going to become more and more informal.
Could happen.
So I forced you to take off your coat. I apologize.
You did. I'll make it. I'll make it through.
So let's talk a little bit about what North Main Financial, where they started from, because I've known you for years, right? But the people that are listening, this may be the first time that they've heard, because your show hours have changed as well, correct?
I believe so, yeah. And so relative to just the origin of my firm, I don't want to get too long-winded here, but yeah, 28 years in the business, and
you don't look a day over
29. Thank you, I appreciate that. But been on the radio actually several times throughout my career with various kinds of formats, and here now for the last number of years on WSIC with the North Main Financial Show. But we deal with individuals and families, and when it comes to investment management and overall comprehensive financial planning. And so we really talk about what's happening in the world around us, and all the things that are headline kinds of things. Obviously, we've had a lot to talk about here in the last couple of years with regards to things that have to do with the pandemic and all things having to do with whether it's student loans or different kinds of programs that were a function of the pandemic. But really, we're focused on the kinds of things that we hope are on the plates of individuals and families that are important to them, so that hopefully they can take something away, and maybe it's part of a conversation or something that's part of their lives and hopefully be helpful to them.
And I listen to your show often, and I know they're getting real value out of the show.
Oh, that's kind. Thank you.
And as a matter of fact, you're kind of my go-to guy when I got a question, with one of my buyers or sellers, right?
Thank you.
So yeah. But Bill is raising his hand, but I haven't included him in this conversation yet. Now let me be clear, Bill, and you know what, Justin, we might have to get I can be in control of these mics, right? Because just because he's sitting next to me doesn't mean he gets to interrupt us. You understand?
I think it's worth it. Let's give Bill a shot.
You're being kind to him.
Let's give him a shot.
Let me introduce Mr. Bill Russell, the president and CEO of Lake Norman Chamber. Yes, my friend.
Thank you, Joe. No, I was going to say that your discussion of the debt ceiling a few weeks ago was spot on. I really enjoyed listening because you explained what would happen. You didn't think it was going to happen, but what would happen if we went past that deadline? And I thought that was a fantastic show.
I appreciate that. We try to hit those headline kinds of things because we're all seeing it on our news, right? It's either in our newspaper or online or the evening news that we're watching on television, and we hear debt ceiling, debt ceiling, debt ceiling. So what does that actually mean? What does that mean for me specifically? And so we try to break it down to that level, and because there are a lot of ramifications. I mean, just sidebar real quick. I mean, obviously we did get a deal passed that was signed off, but one of the functions of that deal is the fact that folks who have had federal student loans here for the last year have had their payments paused. Squeezed into that bill, even though you can argue it doesn't have much to do with the debt ceiling, is that those payments are going to start again coming here in September.
Right.
So it's those kinds of almost, I don't want to say unintended consequences because they're very intended in terms of how they're included in there. But if you look at a debt ceiling bill off the top, or at least the title, you wouldn't necessarily think that's included. And that can happen with big pieces of legislation. So that's why we came at it that way.
You know, as he was talking about that, you were reading my mind. My son just graduated from High Point University, so you know.
Yeah, big deal.
Yeah.
Big deal.
And so that is exactly what my wife came to me and said, just wanted to let you know that's going to start.
Big deal. It's a big deal for so many families, and there's so many things that are a function of student loans that are different from any other loan that you have, whether it's a mortgage, a car loan, or personal line of credit. I mean, student loans are kind of in their own world.
Well,
so.
it's one of those life-altering decisions that you make before they go to school, and you know you're going to have to pay for it. I joked about to my son, and I said, "Son, your school is like the last couch I bought. No interest, for two years, and then all of a sudden they add up all that interest.
It's coming back. Yeah, that's it.
That's right. It's
very true.
So listen to North Main Financial Show every week. What day is it?
I'm Thursdays here.
You're saying
right
that
now,
like Justin has not defined that yet.
Well, I'm a pretty flexible guy. So I mean, if Justin needs a slot here or there where I can fit in. Historically, we've been on Thursdays at 11:30, but I know we're doing some things a little bit differently on the schedule end of things as well. So maybe shifting up a little bit. So, but yeah,
let me tell you, it's uncomfortable. This new guy is making things uncomfortable.
Joe, we got to grow. We got to grow up a little bit. I mean, so we've been kind of on the comfort train here. Let's shake it up.
Yeah, you're exactly correct, and I don't like it. Okay, so let's talk about some of the services that you provide. I am on your website.
Yep.
Now, let me just remind y'all, in this brand new sexy studio that I'm in, I do not have yet, where I had it in the old ugly studio that I loved. It was like an old pair of shoes. You understand? I love them. Is the connection so that I can pull your website up on the screen. But I'm going to get that.
We'll get it.
Even if I have to hook a wire all the way from my house, I'm going to get that online.
We'll do it.
So you can't see what I'm looking at, and the people on the book cannot see what I'm looking at.
Right.
But I'm looking at investment management, tax management, retirement strategies, estate planning, insurance, and annuities. Yeah. That's a whole lot of stuff, right?
It is.
And talk about the different types of people that come. Do they come for all of that? Do they even know to come to you and say, I want retirement strategy, I want insurance, or do they say, hey, what can you do for me?
Sometimes, it's a little bit of everything. Everybody's in a different space when it comes to their individual financial lives. So, we're looking at things from all kinds of different angles with regards to, what folks' experiences are. So sometimes it's one function or another that we're bringing to it, and so we just try to be there at their point of need.
Okay.